took place tonight in Seattle, Washington. The show kicked off tonight with Adam Pearce in the ring. He called Seth Rollins to the ring, and then the arena is just flooded with these masked, hooded men, and they all jump in the ring until one is left. They do this thing where each one of them goes in front of each other so you can't tell the identity of Seth Rollins, and after they're all out, the one guy remaining is Seth Rollins, who takes his mask off. Pierce makes some speech to him trying to get him to stop attacking. And it was weird because he didn't care about him doing these sneak attacks. He cared more about Seth being injured again. Then Logan Paul and Theory interrupt them. And then all the masked men scatter with Seth. So they do the gimmick where they all jump in the ring, each one of them, and Seth kind of blends in with them so you don't know which one he is. I'm guessing all these extras are just wrestlers who work at his, who actually train at his school. That's what I assume it is. And I'm sure at WrestleMania there's going to get some big elaborate entrance with all these masked men or something. So LA Knight comes out. He goes after Logan and Austin Theory, but then it's 2-on-1 until the Usos make the save. Then Division retreat, and then they yeet, of course. After the break, Jackie Redmond wearing a coat, I repeat, wearing a coat, damn it, interviews the Usos. Jackie asks the Usos about Punk, what he said to Roman last week. They don't answer. I'll be honest, I'm still not over that dress she wore from last week. She literally broke the internet. It's incredible how attractive, how hot she looked last week. I'm just not going to lie. Wow, Jackie. I do miss that dress already. It's only been a week, Jackie. Please, can we see it again before WrestleMania? Maybe she wears it again at WrestleMania. I don't know, but my goodness, it's a hot one. It's a beautiful woman. What else can you say? Anyway, Lyra Valkyria was out next for the gauntlet match, and Io Sky comes out as her opponent. And we get the Intercontinental Championship #1 contender gauntlet match. The first match was Lyra Valkyria against Io Sky. Very good matchup here. Io bumps really well. One thing I like is when Io takes a back bump, she lands and then she puts her legs up so she sells it better. She's so flexible like that. Eventually, Io won after she hit the over the moonsault onto Lyra. Then her next opponent was Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel got the heat forever. Io tried to come back, but eventually Liv Morgan runs out and it distracts Io. But this only draws out Stephanie Vaquer, who comes out. She comes and attacks Liv Morgan. Liv retreats. Stephanie goes after her, beats her up the ramp. Liv gets away. But then Raquel has her face turned to the action, and that's when Io takes advantage. She hits an inside cradle onto Raquel Rodriguez and pins her. 1, 2, 3. So Liv blows up the match for Raquel again. First she cost her that match against Stephanie a few weeks ago now for the women's title. Actually, about a month ago now. It was after the Rumble, the Raw after the Rumble. That's when that was. Over a month now. And then she messed this match up for her again. But they're still not teasing tension, it seems like, with Liv and Raquel. But Io takes up Raquel. Then after that, however, Raquel attacks Io. She throws her into the ring post, beats her up, and hits a Tejana bomb onto the apron. That's when Ivy Nile comes in and quickly pins Io Sky and eliminates Io, and that's how they got her out, kind of protecting her in a way. I don't know what Io's going to do at WrestleMania. I don't think she's going to get a spot, unfortunately. That fucking sucks. That's absolute bullshit. She's had such a great year. She was my female superstar of the year in 2025. I thought she was incredible, and it's bullshit she's not getting a spot at WrestleMania. It actually genuinely pisses me off. I think it's garbage. She absolutely should have a match, and I hope she just doesn't cost Rhea or something. I mean, who wants to watch Rhea and Jade? Jade sucks. But, Triple H loves his muscle mommies. What are you going to say? But for Io not to have a match, that's fucking ridiculous. Seriously, she needs a spot. It's probably not going to be in a world title match. She's not going to get into not going to make it a triple threat with Rhea and Jade. But still, Io should have a fucking match. It's ridiculous if she's left off this card. That's fucking bullshit. Anyway, we have Ivy Nile against Bayley next. Bayley won after a Bayley to belly. Then Asuka comes out for the last opponent. So they're having a decent matchup, but Lyra comes out to stop Kairi Sane, who was trying to interfere on Asuka's behalf. Bayley then hits the Rose Plant on Asuka and won the gauntlet. She will now face AJ Lee next week in San Antonio. Hopefully Bayley gets a spot on the WrestleMania card. I still think for sure she's leaving in September. I think she's probably just going to lose to AJ next week, or maybe Becky. I hope Becky comes out attacks them both, causes a DQ, and we get a triple threat set up for WrestleMania. I'd actually like that because that would just, I don't want to see this gauntlet match go to waste. I mean, for her just to lose next week, it's kind of a waste of the gauntlet match. I hope at least they can set up Bayley where we get a triple threat and it's kind of a make good for last year, and maybe they can sign her. But I think she's probably leaving in September when her contract is up. So after the break, they show us the Vegas Strip. I don't know, there's something that it's more tolerable this year than last year. I guess it's because I prefer listening to Aerosmith than Travis fucking Scott. Ugh, I have to mention his name again. Penta heads to the ring next, and then they actually push that tickets are going on sale for the Hall of Fame tomorrow at the Park MGM, so you can go get your tickets for the Hall of Fame. I'm sure they'll announce more inductees later on, probably to push more tickets. Byron Saxton was interviewing Natty when Maxine jumped her, and this was during the break. I actually got a commercial, so I'm not complaining. I didn't care about this, and I don't care about this feud. Danhausen was trying to talk to Americano. It's a Chad Gable version. I'm just going to call him Gable and Kaiser. I'm done with this Americano gimmick. It sucks. Gable refused to take, I don't even know what he was trying to do, to talk to Danhausen, and he just wanted him to go away. And then Danhausen cursed him. And then we did not see him again for the night. Okay. So Penta was out next. He thanks the fans for the support. Then he thanks his family, his friends. He thanks everyone. After his big title win last week, he cuts this really passionate promo in Spanish after his major title win, and it's really good here, and you can tell this means a lot to him. And then after that, after his promo was done, the other Americano came out, and it was not Gable, it was Ludwig Kaiser. So we got the Intercontinental Championship match, Penta against Ludwig Kaiser's Americano. Very good matchup here. Penta won the match with the Mexican Destroyer to retain his title. Then we got a Stephanie Vaquer video promo. It just feels like we haven't seen a lot of Stephanie on TV as of late. We barely see her anymore. Last time we really saw her featured much on TV, it seems like was I don't know, that Liv promo when Liv attacked her a few weeks ago. It feels like we need to see more of Stephanie. But she cuts this promo in Spanish on Liv Morgan, and they talk about their backgrounds, how Stephanie had to scratch and claw to get to WWE, whereas Liv was signed when she was 20 years old. They're kind of telling the story of one girl having to work her way, going through the hard way, while the other one kind of has everything handed to her. And that was true with Liv like a few years ago, but the last few years she's improved a lot. And Stephanie says that she actually sees more in Liv. Liv is just, she thinks she's just another blonde or something. I don't know what the line was supposed to mean, but I think it's like Liv doesn't really believe in herself, but Stephanie sees that Liv is actually good. I guess that's the promo, the angle they're trying to do. So then we see Liv responding to it in the Judgment Day's locker room. Dom storms in. He's looking for Finn Balor. Then they all go to the ring. Danhausen was out during the break, and he was actually getting cheered here. He threw his shirts in the crowd. I'm just laughing. I'm thinking, how the hell did he recover from the worst debut of all time? He somehow recovered from that debut. It's really remarkable. So good on Danhausen. They showed some Seattle Seahawks in the crowd, and of course, they're the defending Super Bowl champions. And if you don't know, news coming out of the NFL this week, or actually today, is the actual Super Bowl MVP, the running back, who's the MVP of the Super Bowl, actually left the team today. So he's no longer with the team. Has that ever happened before? I don't know. Has a Super Bowl MVP left his team the following season? I don't think that's ever happened. Maybe it has. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess probably that Cowboys corner or something. Anyway, Judgment Day were out next. Dominic, Liv, and Raquel, that is. So JD wasn't with them here, and of course they still missing Roxanne Perez. I'm guessing they're going to keep Roxanne off TV until after WrestleMania. She's going to be greatly missed. I miss Roxanne Perez, but hopefully she's getting better after. She had to have serious. I don't know how serious the surgery is, but you know it is. Whenever you're talking about something like that, I'm glad she just got it taken care of. I guess we're not going to be able to see her on TV for a while. But they call out Finn Balor. Dom does. He comes out to his old theme music, and he's out with JD. So JD's kind of presented on his side. And then Finn apologizes to Dom, but then he kind of turns it around and says maybe his dad was right. Dom slaps him, then Finn lays him out with a Pele kick. But then JD clotheslines Finn, and then they all beat him up. Liv gets some shots in as well. Then Dom hits Finn in the head with the ring hammer. Then Dom puts the hammer in his shoe and hits a 619 with it. And then he hits a frog splash. And then he puts a chair. He has JD hold a chair onto Finn's chest. And then Dom hits a second frog splash onto Finn Balor. Very good angle. Finn Balor is officially out of the Judgment Day. They've been teasing tension for over 3 years. I don't know. I mean, since Dom came in late 22, it was Finn, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley as the Judgment Day. Originally, they were with Edge, but then they turned on Edge. They kicked them out, and then they became their own thing, the three of them. Then they brought Dom in, and when Dom had that rapport with Rhea Ripley, that's what really set up the Judgment Day and really got it over as an act. It was Rhea and Dom, and then, of course, things happened. Rhea and Damian are booted on the same night on that SummerSlam show a year and a half ago now, almost 2 years ago. And then Liv's in. We got a new Judgment Day, and different Judgment Day now because it's kind of all blown up. I don't know how long JD is going to really last in this Judgment Day, but Finn's out, and I guess all the original members, it feels like they're all out now. Anyway, very good angle, and I liked it a lot, and hopefully we get a match at WrestleMania. We get the return of the Demon. I'm looking forward to it. Backstage, Adam Pearce was talking to Javon Evans, and Kofi Kingston and Grayson Waller talked to him. Actually, Kofi kicks Grayson out to talk to Javon. He tries to recruit him. He wants him in the New Day. Whatever. And then in the background, we see Asuka yelling at Kairi Sane. Then we have Jackie Redmond, who's not wearing her coat anymore. Now wearing something more revealing. Still not what we had last week, Jackie. We missed it. Please wear that dress again. Anyway, she's interviewing Bayley and Lara Valkyria after Bayley's victory. Bayley's thrilled, and she puts over AJ Lee as she's set to face her next week on Raw. Oba Femi was out next, then Rusev came out during the break. We got Oba Femi and Rusev. Oba won after the fall from Grace, exactly what you'd expect. They show us the Vegas Strip again. They promote next week's show, which just so happens to be 3/16, March 16th, 3/16. Are we going to see him in the shows in Texas? Will we see the Texas Rattlesnake? We will see. They haven't promoted him at all, so I'm guessing probably not. But I think he'll probably make an appearance at WrestleMania again as he lives in Nevada. So then we had the last segment. CM Punk was out next. Punk puts over the Seahawks, and we got a Seahawks chant in Seattle, fresh off of their Super Bowl victory last month. And then he mocks Roman Reigns for not showing up. Then the Usos come out because Roman refuses to come to work. Jay wants an apology. Jimmy cuts like this promo on his tone is much different from his brother Jay. He's like genuinely asking for forgiveness, where Jay is pissed off. He's the hothead. Jimmy is being as reasonable as one can be in this situation. He feels disrespected. His family feels disrespected. Punk talks about the Wild Samoans. He doesn't mention much about Sika, but he did work with Alpha and how much he learned from him. And then he rips into Roman, not apologizing. Then Jay is pissed off. He's yelling. Punk finally says, "I'm sorry." But he didn't necessarily apologize. It's that classic, "I'm sorry, I didn't do it sooner" type of thing. That's what they do. And then he was really sorry for the way Roman behaves. Usos are furious, and then he gets in a shoving match with Jay. Jimmy takes a shot at Punk, gives him a sucker punch. They leave Punk laying to end the show. I thought this was a very good angle. Of course, Roman Reigns can't show up, but I actually liked it better, and I thought the Usos were really good here. Look, I shit on Jey Uso every week. He was really good here in this segment. Jimmy, I thought, was really good as well. And, I'm much more interested in an Uso segment like this instead of all the fucking yeeting. But I thought this was actually a good segment here and a good way to close the show. I thought this was another good Raw. I mean, everyone is furious after SmackDown last Friday. It's like the worst SmackDown ever. It's kind of like the Raw from 2 weeks ago, the show in Atlanta, which was like the worst Raw ever, according to the internet. Last Friday was the worst SmackDown ever. I don't know, but I did think Raw was a good show, and last week was really good too. Probably not as good as last week, but still another good show that Raw in Seattle was. So we'll see what happens next as we continue down the road to WrestleMania.